Hey everyone, it's Mike here, and in today's video we are going to be talking about automatic top-off units. Now, if you're the type of person who's running a sumpless canister filter reef, or if you've got an all-in-one system or a freshwater system and you're looking for an ATO solution, then this video is for you. And if you're here to find out what I consider to be the most reliable and consistent ATO unit, then this video here will tell you exactly that. So before we get started, I want to say thank you to all of the subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button below and join in on the conversation. As you can tell, I really enjoy typing out my responses. And this video is especially a response to a viewer's question, which is how do I top off my aquarium? So let's jump behind the camera and let's go. Today, I'm going to show you how I came up with a solution for my aquarium here. So in the past, when I used to run a reef aquarium with a sump, I was able to top off my water using an automatic top off unit. And essentially what it would contain is something like this. It would be a float switch and an optical sensor right there. And that goes into your sump and it measures the fluctuations of water and adjusts for it automatically. Now, of course, I could have just stuck this into the inside of the aquarium and then have it go. But unfortunately, it doesn't work because these things, they look kind of ugly. So that wasn't just going to work in this system. The second thing was that this optical sensor is actually quite inconsistent and unreliable. If the water bounces up and down due to the wave maker, it's going to continuously dose every time that wave goes up and down. The other solution I was looking for was one that I came across online, and it's actually not a bad one at all. So this particular auto top-off unit here just has a single optical sensor, and it's actually very neat. It's small, it attaches to the inside of the aquarium, and there's no problems with it at all. Unfortunately, the goal for me for this particular aquarium, or maybe fortunately of course, is aesthetics. So I wanted this aquarium to be as clean looking as possible with minimal use of equipment. So this particular solution here, whilst a very good one and a neat one, especially if you have an all-in-one aquarium, was just not for me. And the reason being is because that particular auto top-off unit requires a tube to be mounted to the side as well. And so this tube here mounts to the side of your tank and then doses water into it. And having a tube connected to the aquarium with this black mounting bracket up here just didn't look right to me. Of course, I searched and searched for other solutions and I couldn't really find it until it hit me. And so for those of you who have sort of figured it out already, the solution to an automatic top-off unit is actually not an automatic top-off unit. If you're a clever cookie, you've probably figured it out already. So let's take a look inside. Alrighty, opening up the cabinet. Ooh. And this is it. Of course, in my previous videos, I've already mentioned this before, but this is the Kamoa X4 Pro. And I chose this dosing pump to top off my aquarium. It's pretty simple, actually. This is a dosing pump that has a geared dosing head. And so it can actually handle the pressure and it can handle the height of sending water from my reservoir down here all the way up to my aquarium up here. So what does it look like when it gets to the top? Well, it flows all the way around and it goes into this back corner where I use this, an acrylic U-bend. So why did I use this in the end? Well, it's really, really elegant. As you can tell, I don't have any issues with brackets. I don't have any issues with pumps. And then the more I thought about it, I started to think about some of the advantages to using a dosing pump. So let's just talk about some of those advantages of using a dosing pump instead of an automatic top-off unit. All right, the first advantage is one less piece of equipment. How great is that? That means one less power point for me. It also means that I can use something that I've already got inside of my cabinet. Most reefers out there these days have a dosing pump already. So if you've already got a dosing pump, chances are the solution to automatically topping off your water is already inside of your cabinet. The second reason was that when I was running the old automatic top-off unit in my sump aquarium, there were a couple of problems, and that was the pumps would sometimes clog up, especially if I was using kalkwasser. Now, if you've ever used kalkwasser in an aquarium before, that stuff is extremely caustic and it's extremely harsh on your pumps. And so I found that the pumps running kalkwasser tended to not last as long as pumps that would run fresh water. The third advantage to using a dosing pump instead of an auto top-off is that you can consistently dose the same amount of water every single hour, and that means you're consistently dosing, if you're using kalkwasser, the same amount every single hour. And that for me was a really good bonus. The fourth reason, this is quite an interesting one, and it's a little bit of a nitpick for me, but have you ever fallen asleep at nighttime and then in the middle of the night you hear beep, 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 beep? And that's because your ATO is telling you that the reservoir has run out of water. And of course, when does that happen? It happens at 3 a.m. in the morning. And so this particular solution here, especially with the X4, is a very smart one because it has a notification alarm. It also has an app that tells me how much water is left in my reservoir. And so for me, it's a bit of a smart dosing pump as well, because all I have to do is look at my aquarium here. And if I notice that the water is a little bit too low, I just click open the app and then I adjust it. And so already you can see there are actually quite a few advantages to using a dosing pump instead of an ATO. The final reason, of course, and this is something that's come more into effect these days, is that a dosing pump is actually a cheaper option. Now, I've looked around online for most of the major reliable options that exist out there for ATO units, and they're actually running in the couple hundreds of dollars where I live. Now, these days, you can actually buy a top-of-the-line Kamoa X1 Pro for within the hundreds. So we're talking about like $120 for a single head dosing pump. And so if you're the type of person out there who's maybe looking for an alternative piece of equipment to a very, very normal situation, I highly recommend dosing pumps as an ATO. So there you have it. A lot of people have been asking me on the comments below, how do you top off this aquarium? And that's how I do it in the most elegant way, using existing equipment that doesn't fail as much. All right, everyone, you've made it to the end of the video. I want to say thank you so much for joining in on the discussion. Of course, leave a comment below as to what you think. So are you now convinced that an ATO is potentially one way of topping up your aquarium, but of course, the alternative way being a dosing pump? Have you ever considered it before? So if you're new to this channel here, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button below because I endeavor to put out videos every single week. And the content here is designed to be a little bit informative, a little bit alternative, and of course, something that's just adding to the conversation in reefing. So if you've joined us here, I want to say thank you for being around, and I will see you in next week's video. Cheers, everyone. Bye.